And here we go. Welcome everyone to our July 2023 Mindfulness Refresher class, and thanks for being with me. Appreciate you being here. As I mentioned, this is being recorded. I will post these on my YouTube channel, and so they're all there under a playlist if you wanted to go see those. But I'll try to remember to send the recording link out as well as the slides when we're done as well. So today we're going to be talking about coming to our senses. And so we're really going to be focusing on the senses, all the 5 senses, of course, but then there's more than that. Include the 6th sense, and I'll tell you about that when we get to it. But first, let's just do a quick practice to kind of help us come here and now, kind of center us a little bit, leave behind the morning, all the busyness of the day, try to ground us. So this practice is very simple. What you do is you just hold up your hand in front of you.
This meeting is being recorded.
And so hold up your hand in front of you, and you don't have to close your eyes for this. I want you to actually keep your eyes open and watch your hand, and then you bring your other finger up down to the side, like I'm doing here. You see that, everybody? And as you bring your finger up, you just trace your hand. Okay, so you're gonna, as you do that, as you come up, you breathe in, and then watching yourself do this, as you come down, you breathe out. Kind of slowly. So, and then next finger, breathe in and breathe out, and noticing the breath itself, also noticing the sense of touch as you feel yourself tracing your fingers in and out. Also the sense of sight, you might be noticing fingers themselves in and out, all the way down to the thumb. All the way down. Now you can come back, and so we'll do that same thing, coming back, tracing the thumb in, breathing in and out, and remembering the sense of sight and touch. But you might also notice other senses as we're doing this. I can hear in my background some sounds. Some bird song in the background. And we come all the way down and finish that practice. So that's just a quick tracing of the hand practice. It's something you can do anytime, anywhere, very quickly. You could close your eyes and do that and just really focusing on the sense of the breathing as you go up and down, and or the sense of touch. It's a great way to ground yourself and just kind of bring your attention to this moment. All right, so let's just do a welcome. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? Wanted to just kind of open it up. You could either speak up if you'd like, or you can use the chat feature, but just kind of, I usually do this at the beginning of all these, just ask, how's your practice going? I think most of you have some form of a mindfulness practice. And I know for myself, it ebbs and flows as different things happen in our lives. Different, we go on vacation, or we, like, just using me as an example, I had been in a really regular practice in the morning of stretching and doing a meditation during and after that. And that's changed a little bit for various reasons, just because of a medical condition, not doing that as much. I'm trying to get back to that. But it's that whole challenge of keeping our habits going, and of course bad habits creep in as well. So but how's it going? I mean, that's one of my practices. And so what I find sometimes is that my other practices kick in. So other times of the day, or I listen to something on one of the apps. I'll show those to you at the end. There's great apps out there that you can use. I've been trying to use different apps to get different influences But how's your practice going, formally or informally? And how are you doing? Or, and as you can say, put here, how are you being? That's more to the point. Anybody, would anybody like to share a little bit how it's going for them? Chat here. You can also speak up if you'd like. Somebody say something? Well, Kurt says world has been very busy, so I'm out of practice. So that's, I bet you a lot of us can relate to that. And thank you for doing these. Yes, I think this is a great way to keep things on track. And listening to some relaxation audio at night. Good. I mean, that's a great time to do it, to kind of wind down, right? Becca says, I've been using the M Life app and the live meditations. Good. So I do have a slide at the end. The M Life app is free through our EFR program. And a lot of the meditations are live. And you can see them scheduled throughout the day and you can join them. They're usually anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. So keep those in mind. They also have a lot of on-demand meditations on there and little courses that you can take. So Frazier, not sleeping well has a big effect on mood, I'm noticing today. Yeah, ain't that the truth? You know, I think it's actually, now that you mentioned that, I'll share, that's one of the reasons why I haven't been sleeping as well lately too. And I try to use some of the meditation practices to get back to sleep, but that's making it a little bit harder to get out of bed in the morning. So don't have as much time to do the my stretching / meditation in the morning. And yeah, that changes things. It changes your mood, it changes your practice, it changes how you start the day. So another reminder of trying to intentionally do some things. Even some people that recommend just doing a quick stretch, breathing, or gratitude, or intention exercise, even before you get out of bed. So that's something you might consider. Anyone else? Any other thoughts about keeping things going, or some of the challenges you're having, or whatever you'd like to share? Thank you.
Well, I usually try to do exercises in the morning, and I try to do breathing while I'm doing the exercises. My challenge lately has been my dog, because she was really slowing down. She's 13, but they found out she had a thyroid problem. So I'm giving her thyroid pills, and now she's jumping on me the whole time when I'm trying to do my exercises and everything. So the breathing has not been going as well as usual.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. There are all those different things. I've got a dog and a cat too, that if I don't keep them out of the room, they always want to come join you. But that actually, my cat will sometimes jump in my lap if I'm doing a sitting meditation, and that's okay too. And actually relates to what we're talking about today, using our senses. So you can use your sense of touch, and you can feel the softness of the fur and the cat purring, the sounds. And so didn't think of that until you mentioned that. But yeah, those things can throw us off pretty easily. So the trick is to either replace it or adapt to it, or whatever you can do, right, to keep it going. So, but thanks for sharing that. Anyone else? All right, well, today feel free to use the chat and give me any feedback as we're going along. Today, we're going to be talking about awareness of our senses and really turning our attention. And this is another way to train our attention, but really focusing on the 5 senses as a direct path to the present moment. So it's a great practice using any of the senses. I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways to do this. But I find whenever my mind is really full and scattered or overwhelmed, or I'm just not really focused, using the senses as a way to stop. And in the past, I've used as a very simple practice, washing the hands, which we do. And I think we've been conditioned to do a lot more after COVID. But washing the hands as a practice is another good quick practice that you can do. And it brings in all the senses when you think about it. You can watch the water. You can watch your hands lathering up. You can listen to the sounds of the water. You can feel what the water feels like and the soap feels like and the temperature of the water. Probably don't want to taste it. That's the one we don't want to use, but it's a great little practice to use the senses. So that's something to kind of try. And then we will talk a little bit about interoception, our sixth sense. There is another one called proprioception. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's kind of the sense of our movement in our body in space. But I'm not going to go into that one today. But dancing is a great way to bring in both interoception, the internal sense of what's going on in the body, and proprioception. So the quote leading me into this, and this is kind of how I kind of came up with the idea for today's focus, is how exploring my senses got me out of my head and into the world. And this is the subtitle of a book by Gretchen Rubin, author of, and the book is Life in Five Senses, and I'll show you that. I've got a whole slide on that. So the next is just a quick practice to think about, to sense your senses. And so this is something you can do, again, anytime, anywhere. You can change the order of this. You can, so I've got it as 5 things you can see. So do this with me right now. So what are 5 things looking around in your environment? Just focus on 5 specific things that you can see. Just take a moment to focus on 5 different things where you're sitting. Maybe there's a window, you can look out the window, or just on your desktop, your workstation, wherever you are. And then 4 things you can hear. So try to isolate 4 sounds in your environment. I'll give you one. See if you can hear that. It's like gong. And then 3 things you touch. So this might be the sense of your body sitting, or your hands touching each other, or feet on the floor. 3 things that you can touch. And then 2 things you can smell. This might get a little harder depending on but maybe somebody's having lunch and around you, or maybe there's some flowers nearby, but try to isolate two smells. And then 1 thing you can taste. Maybe you're not eating right now, but maybe there's a lingering taste on your tongue from coffee or tea or lunch or whatever it might be. Just trying to really kind of zero in on those. So that's a quick practice you can try. Also, you can mix those up. You could do 4 things you touch. That might be a little bit easier. 3 things you hear. You can also integrate this with different activities, movement as you're walking. We talked last month about nature. So we did quite a bit with noticing different sounds and sights and smells out in nature. Or as you're doing some stretching or exercising. I even do it with bike riding. I really try to focus in on flowers, for example, on a bike ride, as a reminder to be mindful, or things I hear as I'm riding, of the sense of the bike underneath me and the vibrations of the road, my feet on the pedals, those kinds of things. And then smells and tastes as well. So just integrating those into different practices is a great way to kind of do some informal practice. So now, though, we'll do a formal practice, and this is our first one. We'll do 2 today. And this one is called Coming to Your Senses. It's originally by Jack Kornfield and Tara Brach. So just using theirs as a basis, but also I'm going to use a little bit of, there's another couple of good teachers that I like, Dan Siegel, and also Sebene Selassie. You can find her stuff on 10% Happier. All right, so let's begin. And so first thing is, in this coming to your senses, just find a way to sit comfortably so you can be undisturbed for these next few minutes. And let's first give ourselves some appreciation just for taking this time out of our busy schedules to do this. Just taking time to take care of ourselves. You can gently close your eyes now, but I may ask you to open them later as we focus in on sight. But for now, gently close your eyes, and we'll begin with 3 deep breaths as a way to kind of gather our attention. So breathing in nice and deep, filling the lungs, and letting all that air out, letting go of any tension you can as we exhale. Do that a couple more times at your own pace. A couple of nice, full, deep breaths. And just notice the effect that has on your body and maybe on your mind. And then just let your breath resume to a natural rhythm, kind of letting the body breathe naturally again. Now feel the weight of your whole body on the chair or wherever you're sitting, or you might even be standing. Just feel the weight of the whole body. The feeling of pressure, warmth, where your bottom contacts the seat. And feel the places of contact where your hands rest on your thighs or your lap, or wherever they're resting, or maybe they're touching each other. Feel that sense of touch. Notice where your feet contact the floor. Let yourself also be aware of the feeling of your clothing as it touches your skin. And the air as it touches your face. And keeping the eyes closed for a moment, opening the senses. Let your awareness take in the play of images and light at the eyelids. You might notice a flickering of light and dark or shapes. And now, if you'd like, you can open the eyes slightly or wide open, whichever you prefer, and just sort of taking in the visual field, not looking specifically at things, but just keeping a kind of an open gaze in front of you, looking around, keeping your focus straight ahead, maybe being aware though of your peripheral vision and just whole general field of awareness in this visual field, noticing colors, shapes, depth, textures. Just appreciating the visual field right now. And if you'd like, you can close the eyes again and just take a few moments to attend to noticing with relaxed, receptive awareness. Feeling the breath again, sensing the space around you. And be receptive to any scents that might be in the air, any odors, fragrances. Notice what it's like to smell and receive the odors that are present just where you are. Related to that, you might also notice taste. Again, any lingering taste on the tongue, your mouth. Now let your awareness open to the sounds around you, receiving the symphony of sounds, sort of the soundtrack at the moment. Let it wash through you. Soft sounds or loud, near or far. See if you can open up to sounds, not just with your ears, but with your whole awareness. Listening to the play of sounds and the space between sounds. Now, with the same receptivity, come back to the sense of sensations, body sensations, and aliveness in the body. Bring your awareness to your hands, feeling the sensations there. Maybe clasping the hands together or putting one hand over the other, noticing that sense of touch, texture, fingers, skin. And then maybe also noticing the feet and the soles of the feet. And then focusing our attention on our sixth sense, the inner sensations of our own body. Perhaps noticing the feelings from inside the chest. Sense of the lungs breathing or the heart beating. The rest of the torso, the stomach and digestive areas. The inside of the pelvic area. The inside of the throat, noticing the neck and the throat. Face and the head, the inside there. Just kind of scanning internally. Noticing general sensations, tingling, vibration, heat or coolness, tension, tightness, relaxation, ease, whatever you notice. And now let their senses be wide open together. Your body and mind relaxed and receptive. Allow life to flow freely through you, sensing your moment-to-moment experience. Present to what is here and now. Not choosing anything in particular, just letting whatever you notice in your senses, that whatever calls your attention. Letting yourself appreciate this awake inner space of presence. and the full aliveness that is here. And as we complete this practice of awakening our senses, know that you can bring the same alert, open awareness to whatever you're doing next. To pause at work and be aware of sounds and sensations and sights, tastes and smells. And the life of the senses brings you fully present to explore the benefits of awareness. And so if your eyes have been closed, feel free to open them up and reconnect with your sense of sight. Wherever you're sitting, just take a moment to transition back as we finish that first meditation. And curious to know how that was for you. Please put a word or two in the chat what you thought about that. If you have any comments or feedback about that exercise, I'd appreciate it. In the picture here, I have this picture of, which I've used quite a bit. You probably recognize it. It's a picture of a beach scene. And so that's another way you can do that. You can either use photos or obviously being out in nature, as we've done before. And there's so many different ways to use the senses to connect with the present moment. So keep that in mind too. All right, so one from Tawana, that was calming, good. Any other observations anybody has about that? Let me know. Love to hear what you think. So for the next, moving on, this is the book that I mentioned, Life in Five Senses, the subtitle, How Exploring the Senses Got Me Out of My Head and Into the World by Gretchen Rubin. She is sort of the founder of the Happiness Project, and this particular screenshot here is from her website. So when I send the slides out, that's a live link there, Life in Five Senses. And if you really want to actually, you can certainly buy the book. I haven't gotten it myself yet, but there's a lot on the website to explore. There's excerpts from the book. There's a Good Morning America clip. There's a 5 senses quiz, which I took. It's kind of fun. This particular link takes you right to that page where you can take the 5 senses quiz, and it helps you determine what is your most neglected sense. We all kind of have our favorite senses, things that we derive comfort and soothing or pleasure from. And in some ways, maybe we neglect a sense because it doesn't, we don't find that same sense of pleasure or soothing. Couple more comments here. Thank you. I like how it was methodical, going through each sense, becoming more open to general awareness at the end. Yeah. Yep. That's a good way to put it, for sure. It's a good way to practice, using a methodical way that sometimes help us center and then opening up with a more open sense. Unfortunately, I had several distractions. I look forward to trying it again at home, where I may more control. Yeah, sometimes life gets in the way, doesn't it? And our environment doesn't cooperate, but you can also try to use some of those sounds sometimes, even though they're distracting, as a way to kind of focus in on things. But so getting back to this, you might try that quiz. It's really kind of interesting, and it'll tell you your most neglected sense as a way to kind of then recognizing that, using it for self-knowledge as a way to intentionally reconnect with that sense that you've neglected, to be more mindful, to be more using that beginner's mind in a sense of, and maybe finding a new source of comfort or calm, experiences that maybe delight you. We've done a couple of months ago, we did focusing on eating, and using all different ways to bring our attention and our focus to eating. And so that's another example of that. So anyway, check that out. That's a good one. And then related to that, if, this is again, just kind of more a variation on the same theme, but soothing, using the five senses in an intentional way for relaxation. So I've just listed a bunch here. So each one, vision, looking through a photo album or on your phone. You might even create a specific photo album on your phone for things that you want to return to, or actually getting out into nature, and using, as we've said, vision will do that. You can use your imagination for this too. The next practice is I'll integrate that into the practice. Hearing, of course, music is a great way to do that. Different kinds of music, paying attention to the different tones and pitch and volume and all those kinds of things, or just simply enjoying it, noticing what music does for our mood. Maybe it's live music, maybe, really noticing how that can, closing the eyes, listening to music, really focusing in that way, or using earphones, another way to kind of zero in on the sounds. Peaceful sounds from nature or recordings. There's all kinds of things on YouTube where you can find that. And then taste, of course, trying your savoring favorite foods, trying a new taste perhaps, or doing like that raising exercise we did a couple months ago, or mindful eating a piece of chocolate, or some other food that you want to try, or just some new taste, and exploring that with beginner's mind. Then there's the whole area of touch. There's so many different ways you can explore the sense of touch. Feeling water or sand, or, warm breeze or the sun on your face. Lots and lots of different ways to experience that. And then finally, smell, which often is associated with taste. But, I can remember walking and paying attention to some really lovely smells of flowers and things when they were in bloom. And then all of a sudden a garbage truck went by and kind of washed over that sense of really pleasant smells. And it was like, wow, I was like, kind of like totally distracted by that nice, pleasant aromas that I was getting. But then I realized, that's part of what we can do with this, is we can notice the opinions and the commentary that come up. And the immediate reaction I had was, ugh, it's the horrible smell of a garbage truck. But, why is it so bad? It's really not that awful. Sort of a conditioned reaction that we have. And then toggling back and forth, noticing the difference between a really pleasant smell or an unpleasant smell, and an interesting way to explore it. Anyway, just some thoughts for trying some practice on your own after the class is over. And then the sixth sense, interoception. So I just put this graphic here. And lots of times you'll hear in meditations, kind of sensing from the inside out, being aware. And we did that in the first practice there, trying to feel a sense of what you noticed inside the torso, inside the chest and the belly and the pelvic area. And as you can see, there's all sorts of different ways that we have these internal sensations, ranging from pain to pleasure, but just all the normal bodily functions, or the tension that arises from stress or anxiety, and what happens to the heartbeat, and when we feel full or hungry, or we need to urinate or eliminate. All these different things are this interoception awareness. So we can try to cultivate a better sense of that as well. All right, so now if this is where I kind of came to that book, this is from the Science of Happiness podcast. Great podcast. This is a link to the Science of Happiness podcast page, where you can see all of the recent podcasts. But one they did recently was based on the book, and they had Gretchen Rubin as a guest. So finding delight through your five senses. So if you want to kind of get a good overview and summary of that, just go to that podcast. I think it's like 16 minutes. And then you'll see other ones there that you can also try different practices. So try that as well.
He's almost at the end anyway.
And then finally, I'm going to mute everybody. Finally, the practice that we'll do now is something. I'm going to combine a couple things with this image of a beautiful tree. So we're going to do a tree in nature meditation where we'll bring to mind a beautiful, majestic tree, or any tree. It could be a tree that you know in your yard or someplace where you've seen, or you can totally make it up in your imagination. It doesn't really matter. And I'm also going to bring in these elements of earth, fire, air, and water, the four elements, kind of combine them in the practice. And then we'll pretty much be done. So let's find a position. We'll start the meditation by finding a position of comfort and ease and balance. You might take a moment to intentionally find a position that sort of signals your body as a tree. So sitting relatively upright, but not rigid, but upright. Trees tend to be supportive, but also flexible. So kind of sensing into your spine as the trunk of the tree in a sense, and your feet and your legs as going down even as the roots of the tree. Arms and shoulders and neck and head as the various branches and the bulk of the tree. So finding this comfortable position and closing your eyes and letting the body relax, finding a state of ease, maybe taking a couple of deep breaths to help relax us, but also let's stay alert as we do this, not get too relaxed, right? Kind of relaxed attentiveness, but letting go of tension, letting go of distractions, mental distractions, and gradually letting the energy slow down a bit so that we can fully arrive in this present moment. And imagining, if the eyes are closed, this large tree, this tree that you know of, or you can, just imagine in your mind's eye, one that you can be safe around and enjoy. Picture the tree tall and strong, its roots reaching into the earth, anchoring firmly in the ground, symbolizing the state of being grounded in stillness, and using all the senses to immerse yourself in the tranquil beauty of nature. Feel the earth beneath your feet grounding you. Feel the breeze of the air against your skin. Continue to relax and lean on the support of the tree, taking comfort in its shade and support from its trunk. It asks for nothing in return as you feel the tree's grounding energy. Connect with your breath, the natural rhythm of the breath, just as the tree sways gently in the breeze, allowing the breath to flow effortlessly in and out. Sensing the stability, the unwavering strength, and the flexibility and resilience, the deep-rooted presence of the tree. Shifting to sounds of nature around you, around the tree and in the tree, the rustling of the leaves, the song of birds, the flow of the breeze, just the soundtrack of nature. Drawing in energy, like the tree drawing nourishment from the earth. And with each exhale, release thoughts, worries, let them dissipate into the vastness of nature. And you can find refuge in the quiet space of this image of the tree in your own being. As we feel the tree rooted in the earth, noticing the points of contact your body makes with the earth, sensing your body being supported by the chair, feeling your feet connected and grounding you to the earth. See if you can feel the energy moving from the ground into your body through your feet. And then turning to the element of fire, noticing the temperature where you're sitting, coolness or warmth, perhaps feeling the temperature in your hands and feet, or where you're sitting, or in the face, and just simply noticing. Then the element of air, the movement of air around you, across the skin on your face and hands or other areas that may be exposed. The movement of breath as it moves in and out of the body, at the nose, the throat, in and out of the lungs. And then finally, the element of water, sense of moisture, noticing it in the mouth, the lips, the eyes, maybe using that interoception, noticing movement of moisture within the body, air within the body. And as we begin to close, just bringing a smile to your lips, just a half smile, and feeling how that brings a sense of lightness and warmth and friendliness to the face, and letting it spread throughout the face and down into the neck and the rest of the body. And as we bring this practice to a close, with each in-breath, bring to mind something you're grateful for. And take a moment to bring gratitude for yourself, for taking some time out of your day to being more mindful and bring more stillness and calm into your everyday life. Okay, so opening the eyes, finishing that meditation, reconnecting. Again, feel free to give me any feedback on chat. Got this link here for further reading. It's a good article on the science of touch. Kind of really digs much deeper into it. So that'll be there if you want to do some further reading. And then just reminding you about our phone meditations. Again, still 5 days a week. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2. There's a call-in number. We also have meditations on our Chief Solutions site, and there's 3 recorded meditations on this phone line. And then reminder, somebody mentioned the M Life app. You can sign up on Achieve Solutions. This link is active. I'll definitely send these out. Also the YouTube channel, I've got different playlists. There's a whole nature playlist. There's the refresher playlist, and then the program itself, just a reminder about EFR for you. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for the thank yous. I see those coming through on the chat there. Thank you very much. do so much appreciate you being here. And, without you, it wouldn't be possible. I just appreciate having this group to do this with. And this is our own way of connecting with ourselves. And it would be better probably if we were in the same room, but it's a good way since we're probably spread throughout the system. So thanks to all, everybody. Hope you have a great beginning into midsummer, and enjoy July. And we'll be back in August with another second Wednesday of for that next mindfulness refresher. And if you need anything, just don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to send you anything. I will send these slides out. And again, thanks so much, and wishing you all the best, and be safe, be healthy, be well.